8 rules golfers are breaking without even realizing. You know what? I'm gonna admit something right now. I'm talking through even the first one on this list. Honestly, this seems like a bit of a silly one. Now, with any one of these, let me know if you've ever done it without even realizing, or you've seen people do it without realizing. Let's start with number 1. And I would say this happens when we hit our ball into thick rough. Well, I guess thickish rough, just like this. And you can't see any markings. You know what? I'm gonna admit something right now. I'm talking through even the first one on this list, and I'm realizing how many times I've just pinched my golf ball to look and identify it and put it back without even marking it. Look, I told you you'd be breaking some of these rules without even knowing. So the rule is, regardless of where your ball is, you have to mark it, then identify it and put it back. But you must mark it first, otherwise face a 1-stroke penalty. Now, I will say this, the rules have been relaxed, whereas before you had to have someone observing you identifying your golf ball. You no longer have to do that. In fact, if you didn't ask somebody before and didn't have someone observing you, you broke that rule too. Let's move on to the second one of 8. Let's talk sand and soil, the difference between on the green and off. This is an absolute classic scenario right here. I'm near a greenside bunker. I've got a putt. I've got sand on my line, both on the fringe and on the green. Now this is so key. I am not, and I've done this so many times, I'm thinking right now, without even knowing, as a kid, I would have wiped this sand away. Not even a kid, what even known as a young golfer, I'd have just wiped the sand on the fringe and on the green out the way. Whereas you cannot wipe this sand out the way. It's only classed as a loose impediment on the actual green. Only classed, I mean, look at that now, as a loose impediment on the actual green. So you are able to wipe that away. This bit, well, I guess is just tough. You have to hope for the best and put through it. That's not bad. Let's move on to number 3, slope facility on rangefinders. Now, I did actually know about this. If your distance measuring device has a slope facility, it must be turned off during a competitive round of play. So, fingers crossed you're not already doing that. That one I did know about. Let's move on to number 4. Let's talk taking relief from a cart path. Now, looking at this right here, I want my relief to definitely be this side. It's a bit more of a fairway lie, whereas this here on the right looks a little bit thicker. Now, what many golfers don't realize is they believe they're entitled when taking relief from a path or an immovable obstruction to a perfect lie, not that side, and a perfect line of sight. Now, of course, sometimes this can work in your favor, but in golf, you don't get free drops from dreadful lies, trees, thick rough. You just have to take your relief where the nearest point is, no nearer the hole, and also make sure you absolutely take full relief, like full relief. Your feet can't be on the cart path in this instance. So unfortunately, sometimes it works in your favor. Oh, that was thick. Get up. Oh, just short. Other times, like this, it doesn't. But I guess that's golf. Let's move on to the next one. Whew. Nice shot, mate. What did you hit there? For me to know, and you to find out. Now this one is big, isn't it? Especially when playing with people that you play with week in, week out, asking your playing partners what club they just hit before hitting your own shot. That is not allowed. You can't even rummage and move clubs in someone's bag to ascertain what club they're hitting. And you're probably thinking right now, me and my mates ask each other all the time, what club did you just hit there, mate? You're not allowed to do that. That is a penalty. What you are allowed to do is ask how far the shot is, as that is considered public information. Now, you are allowed to look in the bag without touching, but as soon as you touch, you would be breaking the rules. Now, I know that is a big one. I just know it. I see it. I literally see it. I reckon if I walked out here at Los Colinas, and admittedly, if it's just a friendly golf, to be honest, does it really matter? But in a competitive round of golf for a handicap, it does. I just think of it as this way, right? Imagine you were playing over 150-yard carry over water. It was into wind. you weren't sure what club to hit and your playing partner went first, right? They hit it on the green, or they hit it and came up short. You would know what club they hit to either get it right, or actually you would then realise that you probably need one club more. Because when you're playing, you definitely get a gauge of how far people are hitting it. That is a big one. The next one on our list, and this is just for match play only. So let's imagine this scenario. Golfer 1 takes their putt. It comes up and misses just short. Golfer 2 is just here. Now, if your putt is not conceded and you go and tap it in, you're not allowed to do this. You may be asked to replay it. Hey mate, I never gave you that. Can you replay that? As the rule in match play is it's always the person who lies furthest away from the hole or team that is next to play. Now, I always think people may feel aggrieved if they can't go and tap it in, or they're even asked to replay. But I think it's important to know in a match play scenario, it really does change the dynamics of the match. If you go and tap in, there is then way more pressure on your opponent's putt. So it changes the psychological aspect. Unlike in stroke play, you can just go and tap it in if your playing partners all agree that you can go and do it. But in match play, unless your playing partner gives you the putt, you're not allowed to tap it in. It's always the furthest person away from the hole. I always think about it like this, right? It's always a lot harder to make a 3-footer like this when you absolutely know you need to make it, whether it's with a half or it's to win the hole. So come on, no going up and tapping it in. Now we've got 2 more to go through. And these are big if I'm really honest with you. But at this point, is there any that you're like, oh my, you know what? I've definitely broken a few of those rules. Come on, let's be honest. Let's get down the comments area right here. I wouldn't say I would love to know, but what I'm trying to say is I think it'd be good for us all just to put it down below in the comments because it's so easily done. Now, I'll be honest. This next one is a little bit of a funny one. Playing from the wrong green. My putter just fell over. Now, I guess this only really happens on links golf courses where the grass is so short and it's hard to tell where one green starts and one green ends. But you must take full relief, and it is free relief at the end of the day. It's not going to cost you anything. At the nearest point of relief where the stance, the ball, or intended swing area isn't interfered with by the wrong green. Honestly, this seems like a bit of a silly one, but I think sometimes it is hard to sort of see because you could putt from 30, 40 yards away on a links golf course, right? That wouldn't cause any damage. Anyway, let's move on to the final one. The final one would be playing a second ball without making it obvious to your playing partners. Now, you actually don't have to use the word provisional ball, but my advice to you is that I probably would use the word provisional. But please, please, please make it clear, because if you hit one out of bounds or you can't find your first golf ball, you need to know what is your first and what is your provisional. So there you go. There are the 8 rules you probably didn't realize that you were breaking. Thanks for watching.